ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਸਲੋਕ ਮਨ ਇੱਛਾ ਦਾਨ ਕਰਣੰ, ਸਰਬਤਰ ਆਸਾ ਪੂਰਨੈ। ਖੰਡਣੰ ਕਲ ਕਲੇਸ਼ੈ, ਪ੍ਰਭ ਸਿਮਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਹਿ ਦੂਰਨੈ। ਮਨ ਇੱਛਾ ਦਾਨ ਕਰਣੰ, ਸਰਬਤਰ ਆਸਾ ਪੂਰਨੈ। ਖੰਡਣੰ ਕਲ ਕਲੇਸ਼ੈ, ਪ੍ਰਭ ਸਿਮਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਹਿ ਦੂਰਨੈ। ਹਬ ਰੰਗ ਮਾਣਹਿ ਜਿਸ ਸੰਗ ਤੈ, ਸਿਓ ਲਾਈਐ ਨੇਹੁ। ਸੋ ਸ਼ੋਭਿੰਦ ਨਾ ਵਿਸਰੋ, ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਸੁੰਦਰ ਰਚਿਆ ਦੇਹੁ। ਪੌੜੀ ਜਿਉ ਪ੍ਰਾਨ ਤਨ ਧਨ ਦੀਆ, ਦੀਨੇ ਰਸ ਭੋਗ। ਗ੍ਰਹਿ ਮੰਦਰ ਰਥ ਅਸ ਦੀਏ, ਰਚ ਭਲੇ ਸੰਜੋਗ। ਸੁਤ ਬਨਤਾ ਸਾਜਨ ਸੇਵਕ ਦੀਏ, ਪ੍ਰਭ ਦੇਵਨ ਜੋਗ। ਹਰ ਸਿਮਰਤ ਤਨ ਮਨ ਹਰਿਆ, ਲਹਿ ਜਾਹੇ ਵਿਜੋਗ। ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ ਹਰ ਗੁਣ ਰਮਹੋ, ਬਿਨਸੇ ਸਭ ਰੋਗ। ਹਰ ਸਿਮਰਤ ਤਨ ਮਨ ਹਰਿਆ, ਲਹਿ ਜਾਹੇ ਵਿਜੋਗ। ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗ ਹਰ ਗੁਣ ਰਮਹੋ, ਬਿਨਸੇ ਸਭ ਰੋਗ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, today's ਪਾਵਨ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਹੁਕਮਨਾਮਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ from ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਹਰਿਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ is on Ang 706 by Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji in Jait Sri Rag. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji today saying to us in this salok, that salok that has the power to take us by our hand, take us to that lok, to that world that is sundar, that is beautiful, where there is only the existence of Vaheguru Ji. So Sangat Ji, let's go along and let's hold tight onto these words of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah Ji and let them become a part of us. Let them go deep inside of us so that we can then start living in that beautiful world where there is only Vaheguru Ji. ਸਲੋਕ ਮਨ ਇੱਛਾ ਦਾਨ ਕਰਣੰ, ਸਰਬਤਰ ਆਸਾ ਪੂਰਨੈ। ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ saying to us, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਨ ਇੱਛਾ here means desires. ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਇੱਛਾ here with a bindi because it desires all our desires, not just one desire. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਨ ਇੱਛਾ ਦਾਨ ਕਰਣੰ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that whatever the desires of this mind is, that ਦਾਨ ਕਰਣੰ, that Vaheguru Ji, they give us the gift ਦਾਨ, they gift us. ਕਰਣੰ mean give us, they gift us whatever those desires of the mind are. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਨ ਇੱਛਾ ਦਾਨ ਕਰਣੰ, ਸਰਬਤਰ ਆਸਾ ਪੂਰਨੈ। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਰਬਤਰ ਆਸਾ, ਸਰਬਤਰ means all, asa means my hopes. Purane means to complete. Vaheguru Ji is the one that completes all of my hopes. Sangat Ji, just looking at this. There's two ways of looking at this. The one is that man ichha daan karanang. Yes, that Waheguru Ji will complete whatever desires are within us. Because that is the law of Waheguru Ji's whole makeup of this creation. That whatever desires that we have deep inside of us. And sometimes, Sangat Ji, we're actually in denial of our own desires. Because we often live this life so unconsciously. It's very rare that we actually live this life consciously. And even though Satguru Ji Paat Ji saying to us, kende tusi jaag ke eh jeevan no jiyo. He's saying wake up and live this life. So Paat Ji will say things like jago ho, sute ho, chale aa banjara. They're saying that wake up. This treasure is leaving your side. Sangat Ji, if we just look into that a little bit. So, Paat Ji saying, kende jago ho, sutte ho, chale aa banjara. So, Paat Ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉੱਠੋ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ constantly look what we get stuck in ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੀਤ ਘਰ ਬਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਹੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੀਤ ਘਰ ਬਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਹੋਈ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਪਵੇ ਜਿਉ ਚੱਲਸੀ ਜੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਕੋਈ. So what part is ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੀਤ every moment of my life ਘਰ ਬਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ. That I'm so bound up into my household affairs. Kende, fair enough, if all these things were going to remain, if I was going to remain here forever, and I was going to never leave them, or they were going to never leave me, these household things, be it my job, be it my children, my actual house, whatever it is, fair enough, if it was going to be something that's permanent, then yes, je rehna hunda ta fir appa we would get caught up in it. Pacha kende, so most, even if we look at now, there's many of these quantum scientists, so many other spiritual people, they say that when we actually look into it, it's only anything between 1% and 5% that we actually live our life consciously. The rest of our life, we're all actually just living from where we're actually living our life from that place, Sangat Ji, where Paat Ji is saying to us that from that subconscious mind, whatever is stored in there from our memory, we end up just falling into that autopilot and living from that place. So Sangat Ji, ਆਓ ਪਰ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੇਖੀਏ ਅੱਜ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ. So Sangat Ji, there's desires that we have, but we are not necessarily always conscious of these desires. So there's things that actually come into our life, that we get in life, and we don't often connect it and realize that it's actually come from us. So Sangat Ji, there's many of times we don't actually even realize that all of these things, all of these desires have actually come from us. ਆਪਣੋਂ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਸਮਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਕਿ ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੀ ਆਈਆਂ ਨੇ, ਮੇਰੇ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਹੀ ਆਈਆਂ ਨੇ. So ਬੰਦਾ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਕਿ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ why have I ended up in this situation. And Sangat Ji, the truth is, the reason why we have ended up so many of times in those type of situations is because it's been our own inner desire to actually have that. And you know how, Sangat Ji, the saying goes that sometimes ke jadon you know that some people say, oh you know what, I always end up attracting these type of people in my life. How comes how comes it's always me that ends up with these particular people in my life? And Sangat, the truth of that is, the reason why it is because it's our inside desire to actually have that type of person in our life. And that's why we end up then attracting them into our life. So that's why Pachaji often says to us, kende tusi jummebari lo apne tusi aap hi of your own life. Pachaji say that you've got to take actual responsibility of that. So Pachaji say to us, kende dadde dos na deo kisa dos karma apneya jo main kiya so main paya dos na dije avar jana. Don't shift that blame to somebody else, because what comes into our life is all created by our own self. So Sangatji, so sorry about that, I was just adjusting here a little bit, that I was actually doing this Shabad myself, and I was just looking for the Shabad, and now I've actually found it, so we should be on track. So Sangat Ji, so I'll apa mananu and just get my mind focused again here, and so Sangat Ji, man ichha daan karanang sarbatra asa purane. So there's two ways of looking at this, that man ichha daan karanang, that Waheguruji gifts us whatever the desires of our mind is. And this sounds like a great thing, because we think, yes, obviously, like that we want all those desires that we have inside of us to be completed. But Sangatji, those things that we have desiring from inside isn't necessarily always good for us. Just like a child, a parent always knows that, a parent often knows, let's put it that way, a parent often knows that, this thing isn't going to be good for my child. And a child could be asking for something really random, and the parent knows that this isn't going to be actually right for my child. But in that same way, we as adults, we have many of these desires inside, but we ourselves are not aware that these things may not actually be healthy for us. These things might not actually be good for us. So we go on to desire such things, and then they do come to us. If everything is in the right place, then remember, whatever our desire is, our whole energy starts working towards actually gaining that. And then we get it, and we're not always able to handle it. And sometimes we think that, why have I got it? And because what it is, that we're in denial of our own desires. So sometimes you'll hear certain women saying to me, I remember growing up, and they'll say, you know what, I don't know why I always attract these type of men into my life. And those type of men might be that they're quite, let's just for example say they're quite assertive, they've got a certain, image in society, having maybe that gangster image. And it's because it's actually deep inside, there's that little desire, and that every so often the intellectual mind kicks in and says, no, you know what, it's better for me if I actually have this is the type of man that would suit me better, if somebody's more stable, this. But this inside, which is deeper than that, is actually saying, but I do quite like that whole gangster image, and then that they attract that to themselves, because man ichha daan karan, because it's the nature of it's the law of the whole nature to start working towards them bringing that to us. And then when we get it, we think, what have I done? So Sangatji, this is about becoming more alert and more aware that actually mere andar jo mere andar ki baitha hai, what is actually inside of me. So every time this happens to us, so every time we end up in a situation in life, we end up getting something, having something, eating something, consuming something, some form of drug, some sort of something, being amongst a certain amount of a certain type of people again in our lives that aren't necessarily good for us. Ending up with a certain type of car that's too expensive for us and we're struggling to even, how is it all happening? Me getting into a certain position at work, how is it all happening? And then when we get it, we think, yaar, ye ki ho gaya? And we think, what's happened here? How did I end up here? Take that moment to reflect. That's why Bhagat Kabir ji say to us, kende bande खोज दिल हर रोज ना फिर परेशानी माहे कहंदे बंदे ओ बंदा भगत कबीर जी saying कहंदे listen O human being कहंदे बंदे खोज go deep inside of you, of yourself कहंदे search कहंदे खोज I remember what खोज means. Often we use the word khoj nowadays if somebody is doing some sort of research, and they'll say that I did this khoj, that I did this research. And what does it khoj actually means? To look through and find. Meaning that if we continue and we keep attracting certain things into our life, and then when we get them we're not actually happy with them, and then we're thinking that how comes I always end up with these type of people in my life that are actually bringing me down? How comes I end up with this type of job in my life? How comes I end up with, these type of situations in my life? Why is that happening to me? We often play that victim role and we'll say, mere naal pata nahi kyun idda ho jandi a, pata nahi meri zindagi vich kyun eho je bande har vele aa jande a. ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ, ਭਗਤ ਕਬੀਰ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਅੰਦਰ ਫਰੋਲ ਕੇ ਵੇਖ ਤਾਂ ਬੰਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਹੀ ਸਵਾਲ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਹੀ ਲੱਭ ਪਊਗਾ. ਭਗਤ ਕਬੀਰ ਜੀ saying ਕਹਿੰਦੇ if you take up this habit, make this into your, if there's any ritual we want to bring into our life, bring this ritual into our life. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਖੋਜ ਦਿਲ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ every day ਕਹਿੰਦੇ search deep inside of you, ਇਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਆ? How is this happened to me? How is this come about? Sangat ji, before we even ask someone else, all it is, we don't go inside enough. This going inside is not talking about finding God inside. This is talking about finding our own hidden desires inside. And then when we go deep enough inside, then we'll think, pata lag gaya. Mainu samajh aa gayi that it's actually me that is creating this. Main lab liya. Itthe pei sigi. There we go. There's that little desire that was sitting in there that I was thinking that it's I wasn't conscious of it, but it just took a little searching and I found it. That was me. So we spoke about this before. Sometimes we want, remember, want is the desire, we want more responsibility. Sometimes we want to be more popular. We want more people actually commenting on our posts. We want more people messaging us on our social media. It's our own wants. You have to find what is yours, but it might not be such a conscious one because we're actually embarrassed of our own desires and we don't want to admit them to our own self. Look at how crazy that is, Sangat ji. There's two people in our own head living. There's not really. It's our crazy mind. That there's this conscious mind, this subconscious mind, this battling with each other. And andar hi sara kuch. And it's so clever that the way these desires work, they're so clever. They'll try and trick you into saying that no, this isn't what you actually want, but it is. Inside it's coming from ourselves. Then if we've got enough inside of us that, let's call it courage even. If we've got enough himmat inside of us, if we've got enough courage inside of us, That's why they call this is like a battleground. This is like you have to become a soldier. So you have to take on this battle and say, you know what, I'm going to be a soldier here. I'm not going to be embarrassed of my own hidden desires inside that I'm trying to hide from myself. But the nature of those desires are that it actually brings that thing to me. So I'm going to be a soldier now and face up to them. So I'm going to say, yo, listen, I found you. I know, and I'm not going to be embarrassed of you anymore, because ja rehna nahi aat jagta kaayat ghar bhandiye. Sangat Pacha ji saying to us, you're not going to stay here forever anyway. So why live in that worry that I'm going to be embarrassed? You're only worried about being embarrassed. Why? Because you're thinking what's other people going to think. But look how crazy is this. We get embarrassed inside our own self because we're ashamed of what our own mind is desiring. Isn't that crazy? So first thing to do is bande khoj dil har roz na fir pareshani mah. Then you won't have to go through these anxieties. Why do we end up then going into pareshani? Pareshani is anxieties. Why? Because then when we get those things, then we get bombarded with messages in our social media because we wanted to be popular. We wanted people to follow us, like us, but we've got it. And now we can't actually handle all of that. We can't get back to everyone. People are then messaging us saying, oh, are you angry with me? Why aren't you replying to me? How come you said hello to me, but now you're not getting back to my actual question? Now we're thinking, hi, ki ho gaya? You know, banda ta andar kamla hoya pya hai. Sangat ji, never mind. Appa to ta apne do bacche nahi sambhal hunde. Je 10 bande sanu sawal kar baithan internet te, ਤਾਂ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਸੰਭਾਲਣਾ? ਸਾਤੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਪਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਬੱਚਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ। ਇੱਕ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਇਸਤਰੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ। We aren't even able to give our full concentration and take care of the demands of our own children and partners, parents, whoever it might be, siblings, never mind then being bombarded on a social media platform from people that you don't even know and associate with. And then that's why Kabir ji say kade na fir pareshani mah. Aithe haan oh pyara sanu sada Waheguru ji de ta doge. Waheguru ji will give us all that. Kende nahi pyareo. Kende appa de lende thak paahe. Kende tu ta thak jana ya. Then we get tired. Then we get anxiety. And then Bhagat Kabir ji kende nahi. Kende save yourself from all this trouble. The moment something you keep attracting the same things into your life, beh ja utthe ek minute andar dekh la ke ਇਹ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੀ ਆਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ। ਹਾਂ ਓਏ ਥੱਪੜ ਮਾਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ and say ਤੂੰ ਹੀ ਸੀਗਾ। say ਹੁਣ ਸ਼ਰਮੀ ਨਾ ਦੁਬਾਰਾ। And the moment we can face up to our own desires, we can say, no, thank you. I don't actually want that. And we can then just let it go, let it pass. ਹਨਾ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਬਸ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਸਿੱਟੀ ਜਾਓ। ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ ਜੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਨ ਇੱਛਾ ਦਾਨ ਕਰਨ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਦਾਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਸਰਬੱਤਰ ਆਸਾਂ ਪੂਰਨੇ। ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਆਸਾਂ ਪੂਰੀਆਂ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਆ। He completes everyone's hopes. Then ਪਾਤਸ਼ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਖੰਡਨ ਕਲ ਕਲੇਸ਼ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that Waheguru ji has got the power to khandan, to actually destroy our kal. Kal sangat ji means our inside, that kal kende to have that. They actually come together, these words. You know, I was trying to separate them. I'm being all technical, forget that. Kal kalesh. Kal kalesh means, you know, when ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਘਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਜਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ। And those of you that don't quite get these Punjabi sayings, no, it's not a good thing. ਵੱਜਦੀ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਕੀ ਆ? They clash. There's a lot of arguments here. ਇੱਥੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਭੰਬੜ ਮੱਚਦੇ ਆ। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ there's always fireworks going on over here. You know these kalesh that go on. when we clash with other people, constantly we've got this argumentative way about us. And these are the true things that we want to be asking for. So if we want to have any desires, the desire should be, Hey Pachaji, man ichha daan karanang. Ask for Waheguru Ji to complete these desires, that this Kal Kalesh, this my mind of me, always ready for a kick-off, always ready to get into an argument over the littlest of silliest of things. It could be so petty and so silly, and I make an argument out of that as well. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਵਧਾ ਦੇਣੀ ਆ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਥੋੜਾ ਕਿ ਹਰ ਵੇਲੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੱਲ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਲੇਸ਼ ਪਾ ਲੈਣੀ ਆ that we always manage to find kalesh out of every little thing. Kalesh kende kal is dukh, is pain, is suffering. Kende the true thing is we want our suffering to be taken away. Kende that's the, and then all these hopes that I had, I hope this happens, I hope this happens. Why Guruji completes them in such a way that they aren't left there anymore for us. They take them away, those things that were burning us. Kende Paatji kende kal kalesh. Sometimes the kalesh is inside of our own mind. This adat of clashing, of argumenting, this can be happening in our own mind, full of doubts, thinking, no, you shouldn't do this, you should do that, this is crazy, no, and you were having all of these things that are going on in our own mind. Kende that Waheguru Ji has got the power to take that away from us. Kende Guru Arjan Dev Ji kende what you have to do on your part is kende Prabh Simar. Kende always keep in mind and remain in the remembrance of Waheguru Ji. Kende Nanak neh dur na, because kende that Waheguru Ji is not far. The truth is kende Bhagat Ravidas Ji kende keh Ravidas haath pa nere. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰੇ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਪੈਰਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਲੱਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ you know what ਕਹਿੰਦੇ you know ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ is closer to us even than our own hands and feet ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਸ ਤੂੰ ਪਰ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿਤੇ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੇਖ try and remember that ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ I'm in pain, I'm in suffering, and that suffering I have brought on myself through my own desires. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖੀ, if ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ Ji's nature is to bring those desires to you, whether it be in this life, whether it be in our next life, whether it be later on, whether it be really soon. ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੱਚ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੱਸਦਾ, ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਜ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਆ in the last few years ਕਿ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਮਨ ਦੀ ਅੰਦਰ ਦੀ ਇੱਛਾ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਕੋਈ ਸਮਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ, ਬਾਲਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ, ਉਹ ਉਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਲੈ ਰੱਖ ਆ ਲੈ Lala. You know, I've seen in my own life recently, though just like I've explained to you, they might not even be such conscious desires inside. But then when you have to face up to them and you give yourself a little slap and say, Oi, tere andro hi aaya tha, it's come from yourself, it was your own desire. Look, Sangaji, and I've seen literally within months those things that I thought, that's it now, I'm not going to get to have that back in my life. And literally within a few months, I've got it back in my life. And then when I've got it back, and then you come to, and then you think, oh, cha, this isn't all that, is it? ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਜੇ ਇਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਗਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੁੱਖ ਮਿਲ ਜੂਗਾ. And I thought that once I get this, I'll be alright. You know, this whole anxiety I'm experiencing, I'll be okay. Once I get that, then I'll like, okay, this isn't it. Next. But as quick as Waheguru Ji can bring that into our life, as quick as remembering Waheguru Ji and saying, Waheguru Ji, I am yours, you are mine, that I am this little child that keeps making these mistakes, but Waheguru Ji, that you have the ability that to take away this suffering for me, Waheguru Ji, to take away this kalesh, this constant doubt, this constant argumentativeness inside of me, of not feeling peace inside me. Waheguru Ji, Prabh Simar. You are so close, you are closer than my hands and feet. I have to just remember I have a thought, and you are so close that you are even present to that thought. That Waheguru Ji, but if I cry out to you, you are not far, because kat antar. ਸਰਬ ਨਿਰੰਤਰ ਨੇਰੇ ਹੀ ਤੇ ਨੇਰਾ। how beautiful is that? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਘਟ ਘਟ ਅੰਤਰ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ is at the core of everything, resides in the heart, in each and every heart. ਘਟ ਘਟ ਅੰਤਰ ਸਰਬ ਨਿਰੰਤਰ ਨੇਰੇ ਹੀ ਤੇ ਨੇਰਾ। He's closer than even close. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ is closer than we can even imagine. ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਜੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੋਣ ਲੱਗ ਪਵੇ, and you know what, even if we're not feeling ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ yet, then even if we're not experiencing ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ yet to be close, but Guru is telling us ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ji is close. Speak to ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ji from inside and say, hey ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ji, this klesh, this whole turmoil that I'm stuck in my own little mind, that ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ji, that I'm remembering you, I know that you are close, and ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ji help me. We'll see how it all just starts to fold out. ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਹਿ ਦੂਰ ਨੇ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ is not far. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਬ ਰੰਗ ਮਾਣ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਸੰਗ ਤੈ। Sang normally is translated to with, but here sang does not translate to with. Sang here translates to because of ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ. Hab means all. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਬ ਰੰਗ, rang means colors. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਬ ਰੰਗ ਮਾਣ ਹੈ, ਮਾਣ ਹੈ means to enjoy all these different colors of life that I have been fortunate to enjoy. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਿਸ ਸੰਗ ਤੈ ਸਿਓ ਲਾਈਏ ਨੇਹੁ। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ so then why don't you fall in love with that one? ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, and some people might say, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ well, how can we just fall in love like that? How can we just say we want to fall in love? Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pachi ne ta sanu ਕਹਿ ਦਿੱਤਾ that why not fall in love with that one? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੈਸਿਓ ਲਾਈਏ ਨੇਹੁ। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ why don't you attach your love to that one, the one that is so close? Because of that one, you are fortunate enough to actually experience and enjoy the different colors of life. How? ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਪਾਈਏ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ? ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਐਵੇਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਪਾਈਏ। How do we fall in love? ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ say that ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਸਿਓ ਰੰਗ ਲਾਏ। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ through ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ, ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਸਿਓ ਰੰਗ ਲਾਏ। Over here this means that fall in love with ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ। ਪਰ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ ਇਹਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਰ ਅਰਥ ਨਿਕਲਦਾ, but another translation to this is ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਸਿਓ we can translate it not just with, is meaning that ਸਿਓ with ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ, meaning taking ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ, fall in love with ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ। ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਸਿਓ through the Guru's words, ਸਿਓ ਰੰਗ ਲਾਏ, ਮੈਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰੰਗਿਆ ਗਿਆ। I've fallen in love with ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ now. What will happen? Then what will happen is that all our dukh will be taken away. How do we fall in love with ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ? Through ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ. In this way, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Pachi saying, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ is love. Something that is love will take you to love. And I was thinking about this. Pachi is talking about remember that one. And I was thinking that ਬੀਬੀ ਭਾਨੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੁੱਤਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਬੀਬੀ ਭਾਨੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਅਰਜਨ ਪੁੱਤਰ ਨੂੰ। ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਪਾਚ ਦੀ ਉਮਰ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ 16 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਆ, about 16 years of age। ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਜਾਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਨੇ। They were about to go to Lahore from ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤਸਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਆ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਾਫ ਕਰਨਾ, they given them the order. ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ means teachings. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪੁੱਤਰ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਾਹੌਰ ਜਾਓ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰ ਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵਿਆਹ ਤੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਆਓ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਪੁੱਤਰਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਤੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਰੱਖੀ ਮੁੜਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਜਦ ਤੱਕ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਖੂੰਗਾ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੜਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ you not to return until I say for you to return. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਅੰਦਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹਿਰਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਪੀੜਤਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਭਰਿਆ ਗਿਆ। Guru Arjan Dev Ji Paatshah's heart is filled with so much pain in this moment. ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮੈਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਵਿਛੋੜਾ ਸੰਭਾਲੂੰਗਾ? How am I going to able to endure this separation from my Guru? ਪਰ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਮੈਂ ਅੱਜ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਅੱਜ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਖਿਆ ਨਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਸਿਮਰ, always remember that ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਦੂਰ ਨਹੀਂ, it's not far from you। ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਤੈਸਿਓ ਲਾਈਏ ਨਿਓ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ fall in love with that one। And how do we fall in love? Bibi Pani ji took her son into her embrace। 16-17 Guru Arjan Dev Ji, not the Guru yet, 16 years of age, but very tall, very muscular। Bibi Pani ji's taken her son 16 years old into her embrace। Shati na laya apne bacche nu, her child, she's taken him into her embrace। ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੀ ਬੇਟਾ ਸੁਣ, ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਬੇਟਾ ਸੁਣ, ਕਹਿੰਦੀ listen। ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਪੂਤਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦੀ my son ਪੂਤਾ, ਮਾਤਾ ਕੀ ਅਸੀਸ। She's saying, my son, this is my asees, this is my blessing to you। ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਪੂਤਾ, ਮਾਤਾ ਕੀ ਅਸੀਸ। ਨਿਮਖ ਨਾ ਬਿਸਰੋ ਤੁਮਕੋ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਸਦਾ ਭਜੋ ਜਗਦੀਸ਼। May you never forget Waheguru Ji even for an instant, even for that moment it takes for you to blink your eye। ਨਿਮਖ ਨਾ ਬਿਸਰੋ ਤੁਮਕੋ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਸਦਾ ਭਜੋ ਜਗਦੀਸ਼। May you always meditate on Waheguru Ji। This is how we fall in love with Waheguru Ji, through Gurbani. When we see that my mother Gurbani is taking me into her laps and saying, Puta, Mata ki asees। Pyare, we don't want our children to forget Waheguru Ji। Sach I've experienced it in my own life। ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਤਾਂ ਗਾ ਦੀਦਾ ਆ, we sing this shabad to our children। And sometimes even eventually that becomes a ritual। Gata siga puta mata ki asees। Did you sing that shabad to your child? Haan, gata, yeah, I sing it every day। But pyareo, ਮੈਂ ਅੱਜ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, I was thinking about this from deep inside। ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਮਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਸ ਸੀਗੀ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ। That was a mother's ਅਸੀਸ, blessing from inside। And I was thinking that the truth is, ਜੇ ਕਿਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਗੱਲ ਅੰਦਰੋਂ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਨਿਕਲੀ ਹੋਵੇ, if it's coming from our heart, then it's got the potential of reaching their heart। If it's just lip service, if it's just coming from here, then it can still go inside of that child if their heart is open, but it makes it that little bit more difficult। ਬੁੱਲਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਗੱਲ ਨਿਕਲੀ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਤੱਕ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ। It can reach somebody's intellectual mind, ਪਰ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਅਸੀਸ ਨਿਕਲੀ, ਉਹ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤਾਕਤ ਰੱਖਦੀ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਸ। But that asees, that blessing that comes direct from the heart, has the power, the ability to reach somebody else's heart। And I was thinking today, even if we didn't sing this shabad to our child, because a mother might be unpad, because a mother might be uneducated, she can't even read Gurbani, she can't even say these words, a mother doesn't even know these words exist। ਪਰ ਸੱਚ ਇਹ ਆ, ਇਹ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਉਹ ਸੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਕ ਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਨਿਕਲੀ ਹੋਈ ਅਸੀਸ ਸੀ। ਅੱਜ ਸੱਚ ਇਹ ਆ, ਬਾਬਾ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸਨ ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, ਇੱਕ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਉੱਠ ਕੇ ਚਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਦਰਬਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ, ਜਦੋਂ ਕੁਛ ਬਾਣੀ ਦੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਤੋਂ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ। There was somebody that would be sat in the court, would be sat in the diwan, and whenever something was sang that was not Gurbani, he would walk out of that room। Sangat ji, what does it mean? Bhakhya pao apar, What does it mean to have the language of love? What does it mean that everything is about love? He would walk out of that darbar. Baba Nand Singh ji ne ek din ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛ ਲਿਆ. Baba Nand Singh ji said, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿਉਂ ਭਲਿਆ ਪੁਰਸ਼ਾ? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ what is it? Why do you always walk out the darbar? ਕਹਿੰਦੇ when we sing something that is not Bani, when we say something and we sing something that is not come from Guru Granth Sahib Ji, from Gurbani, he said, I don't want to hear anything that is not Gurbani. Baba Nand Singh Ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਸੁਣ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਦਰਜ ਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ, ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਮੁਖੋਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਿਕਲੇ ਹੋਏ ਸ਼ਬਦ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਬਦ, whatever word comes out of somebody's mouth that comes from the hirda, comes from the heart, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ if there's a wife at the top of the kotha, and a kotha, Sangaji, is the house that is open rooftop at the top, and she's standing at that rooftop and her husband is at the bottom, and she says, maaf karna Sangaji, and she says, ਉਹ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿ ਪਤੀ ਦੇਵ, I'm over here. ਪਿਆਰਿਓ, let's take it even the other way round. The husband is at the top. The husband is at the top. The wife is at the bottom. And she doesn't know the way up those stairs. And why have I switched it from that to that? Because Gurbani uses that metaphor as the husband being the Lord and the wife being the sole bride. The oh jada patiya ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗਾ to his wife, take this route, come up these stairs and you'll come and see me. Baba Nand Singh Ji ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੱਚ ਇਹ ਆ, whatever words takes somebody's hand and brings them up the stairs and unites them with Vaheguru Ji, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ that is called Bani. Not Gurbani, but called Bani, divine words. Pyareo, it's not a ritual that is gonna, it's not something that's coming from an empty place that we're just doing because we think it needs to be done. But if the words have come from our heart, if they've come from the right place, Sangaji, if a mother truly takes a child and says, Bache, make sure you don't know these words, but they're coming from this place. And Gurbani agrees with this. Don't think I'm speaking outside of Gurbani. Gurbani, if we read the Tiji Lav, that when Paach kende nirmal har paya har gun gaya, mukh boli har bani. Kende nirmal har paya har gun gaya, mukh boli har bani. Kende, you know, when you become pure from inside, and remember, purity is when you're drenched in love from inside. When you're in love from inside, everything about you becomes pure. Nirmal har paya, because you now are united with that immaculate Vaheguru Ji. Nirmal har paya har gun gaya. Everything that you speak now is in the praise of that one. Mukh boli, whatever you speak is har bani, are the words of God. They may not have come from Gurbani, but pyareo, je kite andar kisi da bhij jave, is drenched in love like that, Gurbani syo rang lai, you take that child into your embrace, even it be a 16, 15-year-old child. Even though you've got everything against you now because they've gone past that stage of their life of where it's easier to put things, feed seeds into their subconscious mind. Par je maa kave, may you never forget God. May you always be in the company of saints that are drenched in love for our Guru, for God. May you always wear the clothes of honor, that you never do such a thing in your life that brings disgrace to your own self. May your food become the praise of God. May you drink that Amrit, that nectar of God's name, and then you reach immortality. May you forever enjoy the colors of life. Sangat ji, even if a mother says these words in her own words, but it comes from here, it's become Bani, and it will reach and it will go inside. Pyareo, पर एक दिन आपां उत्थे तक अपना पहुंचना आ जिस दिन साडा हिरदा एक मां वर्गा बन जावे सारे संसार वास्ते. We want to reach that stage where our heart becomes like a mother to the whole of humanity, where we are saying these words now not just for our child because we've become boundless. We are saying it for the whole of humanity. We have become like this mother for the entire humanity and saying, O Ai Panthi Sagal Jamati, O people of my class, all human beings, may we collectively never forget Waheguruji even for a moment. May we always be in the company of saints that are drenched in love. May we all wear the robe of honor, the clothes of honor. May we all be drenched in the praise and kirtan of Waheguruji. May we all drink that Amrit Naam of immortality together. Asis Pyareo, Hab Rang Mane Jis Sangat Sio Lai Nehu. Gurbani has the power to fill our heart with love. And then we'll enjoy every aspect of life. Then we'll remember Waheguruji in everything. Then Sut Meet, Sut Praat, Meet, Banita, Sang, Hassah. Even these pleasures of life that I'm getting to enjoy, I'll remain drenched in love for you, Waheguruji, because I will feel that it is your grace, that Jeh Prasad Tar, Upar Sukh Basai, that if I'm getting to reside on this earth in Sukh, in happiness, through having that opportunity to laugh with my Sut, with my child, Sut Praat with my siblings, Sut Praat Meet with my friends, Banita with my partner, Sang with Hassah, I get to laugh. Sangat ji, Hab Rang Maan hai. All these different colors, this is a different color. You know, laughing is a color of Waheguru. I get to laugh in your love. Rang hasse rang rove chup pi kar jahe. Make even laughing an experience of Waheguruji. Experience Waheguruji's love, because the moment I laugh, I say thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Waheguruji. You gave me this opportunity to experience this joy and pleasure of laughing with my family. It's from you. Because there's many that are experiencing depression in their life that they've not laughed for years. Living my whole life in gratitude. When I laugh, I say thank you. When I cry, I say thank you. When I remain silent, I say thank you. Love. This is love. You give me pain, I say thank you. You give me hunger, I say thank you. Kettiyan dukh. There is so many people that are suffering. Kettiyan dukh, bhookh, that are in hunger. Sadmar, always constantly getting hit. Eh bidat, even this is a gift. This is love. Love is saying, even when challenging times, even when suffering comes to me, even when I am hungry, even when I haven't got food to eat, even when I lose my job, even when I break my leg, even when anything of these things happen, even that dukh is a gift, because I have the opportunity in that pain to grow even deeper. I have the opportunity in that pain to learn the depths of life that I had never experienced and gone to before. I see these even as a gift. Ketyan Doog, thank you for this beautiful gift, Waheguru. Whatever disease I am consumed with, physical disease, mental disease, thank you, Waheguru, for this gift. I then search deep inside of myself, where has it come from? If my leg didn't pain, I wouldn't know that there is a problem. I wouldn't give it any thought. I wouldn't give it any attention. That pain has allowed me to give it some attention. Thank you, Waheguru. If I'm suffering mentally, it's allowed me to search inside. What has caused this? What have I done? Thank you, Waheguru. Ketyan Doog Pook Sadmar Ehbi Daat Teri Datar. Je paas behale ta tujhe arati. If you sit me next to you and everything's going all good in life, I am still in love with you. Change changa kar manne mande manda hoye. Ashk ehna akhiye je lekhe varte soye. That's not a lover. That only is in love with you, Waheguruji, that when things are going all good, and the moment something goes not accordingly to my plan, then I say, what have you done to me? That God can't exist? No, I can still feel you, Nerda. I can still feel you. Nere hite nera, you are still so close to me. Waheguruji, Sangaji, make Bani an experience. Oh, samapti kariye. Pacha ji ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ, Satguru ji Pacha ji saying to us, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਹਬ ਰੰਗ ਮਾਣੇ ਜਿਸ ਸੰਗ ਤੈਸਿਓ ਲਾਈਏ ਨੇਹੋਂ ਸੋ ਸ਼ੋਹ ਬਿੰਦ ਨਾ ਵਿਸਰੋਂ. Not even for a moment may I ever forget you. Nanak jin sundar rachya deho, the one that has created and made this beautiful body. Pauri, Jio pran tan tan diya, that one that gave me my life, my breath, my body, my wealth. Just keep saying thank you. The word thank you itself has such a beautiful positive connotation surrounding it. It will rewire our brain. It will shift our whole way of living. Jio pran tan tan diya dine ras bhog, the one that has given me ras, the one that has given me the ability to enjoy these pleasures of life that you have put me in to enjoy and experience. Greh mandar, the greh, the houses, the mandar, the mansions, the rath, the cars, the asa, the powerful, God knows how much horsepower these cars that we have got, that you have given me. Diye raj pale sanjog, this that you have given me, this fortunate to be able to have all of these things. Sut banata, my children, banata, my wife, sajan, friends, sevak, people that serve me. Diye prab devan jog, you are the only one that has the ability and power to give me. Let me keep saying to you, thank you, Waheguru, thank you. Epi Daat, this is your gift. The pain is your gift. The pleasure is your gift. It is all your gift. That is love. That is love. Remember, in love, we will only be within joy in our own self, and we will only spread joy. Har bisrat tan man haraya, that when Har Simrat, in your remembrance, I will be blooming. I will be rejuvenated. Leh jahe vijog, that pain of suffering of separation will be taken away from me. Saad sanga har guna ramaho, that in the company of saints that I will be constantly in the remembrance and saying and speaking of your praise. Bin se sab rog, all my diseases will be taken away when I am in your praise. When I'm in love, there is no disease for me. Sangat ji, itniyan ku benti hai praman karniya. Please forgive me for all my mistakes. आओ संगत जी रल मिल के बुलाउणी फतेह, गज वज के आओ आखिए वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।